Thank you, Dr. Naya Lecht, I have to say. I would like to know your son's name because I would like to quote him. Zionism is the Jewish soul. Nefesh b'nefesh means soul to soul. And why do we have that name? Because we all can recognize that our connection to this country is a soul connection. That's with something in our bones. Sometimes it's unexplained, but it's something that we feel deep inside. So I just wanted to share with you a little of what Nefesh B'Nefesh was doing since the war began. Gary, would you be able to upload the? Thank you. So I would like to respect the time that I was given and to share with you briefly some of the initiatives that we've been doing since October 7th, and I'll extrapolate on a few more deeply. When October 7th happened, um, our world turned upside down personally in every way. Just this Shabbat, I was asking my son about when he was drafted in October 7th. He said, Mom, my friends and I weren't drafted. We just went. So October 7th, on a professional level, also, we were inundated with requests for help from, we've brought 80,000 Olim to Israel, and they live all over the country in 180 communities. We were inundated with requests to help people who had to resettle to other places, evacuees, financial requests, people whose livelihoods were affected, obviously emotional help. And we had 7,000 lone soldiers who were called up. We've had 13,000 that we've brought to Israel, but those in duty and those that were called up to reserve duty were somewhere between 5 to 7,000. And we knew that, we need to help them. They're completely alone. In addition to the help that we were receiving, we also had requests from physicians, because for those of you who know, we have a physician fellowship. Now it's called the International Medical Aliyah Program. And we have fantastic relationship with the Ministry of Health. And we had requests from doctors from all over the world who said, we want to come and we want to help. Israeli doctors were being called up to the front. The hospitals were inundated with patients. We needed help. So what we did was the Ministry of Health asked us to create a master database of physicians, their specialties and their subspecialties, and it was distributed to different hospitals around the country and including the IDF. And we had over 230 volunteer doctors that came. I will be able to tell you about that in another minute. We created a community grants for communities around the country that were feeling intense anxiety, of husbands that were called up and wives that were left by themselves without any sort of support system and that needed help. We created a Shuk Olim for Olim whose livelihoods were affected. There are Olim that are living in the north and south and all over, whose livelihoods and entrepreneurial soldiers that simply were called up, and that's it. October 7th changed the landscape for them. So we created a virtual shuk, a virtual marketplace, and we had 150 businesses that had exposure to more than 25,000 unique visitors. We also created a hotline for parents who were so worried, parents of soldiers who could not communicate anymore with their children because their telephones were taken away. And so we became sort of like this nexus for the Olim that we've brought to Israel. Okay, I will continue to the next slide. And of course, we also gave therapeutic resources. By the way, I want to say this, that a lot of people wanted to help and give therapy, but there's something about living here and going through it that somebody who was going through it said, I can't really relate to someone who's not in this country. So we mobilized our therapists, our psychologists, our social workers, and who were giving away help and supporting individuals who needed help. Okay, sorry, 1 minute. One of our unique programs also is that we gave away, we had an emergency fund for Olim who were, really affected by this war. This was a young couple who made Aliyah, 29 years old, living in Ashkelon, and their apartment took a direct hit. We had a family that fled from Sderot. Now, this was scary for every one of us, for every Israeli. Just imagine what it's like for Olim who come and they're completely by themselves. They don't necessarily have where to go and someone to have their back and parents who are here to help with their children. So it was super, super stressful. And we wanted them to know we actually reached out to our South Olim and we reached out to our North Olim and we distributed funds. Our other program, as I mentioned to you before, was our volunteer physicians program, and we had incredible physicians that came, a large number of emergency ER doctors, trauma doctors, cardiothoracic surgeons, anesthesiologists, forensic pathologists, and one of the doctors had quoted something here that I thought I wanted to share. He said, "I truly believe that we're living through one of the inflection points in Jewish history, and we're going to look back on this time and ask ourselves whether we did everything we could to help in this critical moment." So it was really all hands on deck, and we were able to give the doctors and connect them to the Ministry of Health and actually push this forward and bring people in. Sadly, the first doctors that came to this country were forensic pathologists. Sorry, I'm turning this the wrong way. I just want to show you a video. We with JNF, out of the 21 years I've been working at Nefesh B'Nefesh, this perhaps was one of the most meaningful initiatives that I've been involved in. When I was up at night, all night, worrying about my son, holding my daughter's baby, I moved in with her. It was tremendously anxiety provoking, especially if your children are combat soldiers and we're in the thick of this. And I said to myself, oh my God, what's happening with other families and other parents around the world who don't have that support system, who can't necessarily share this with other people, and they're going out of their minds with worry. So we put together a beautiful initiative called Operation Hug, which is exactly as its title says. It's to envelop in love the parents of the lone soldiers who are heroes as much as their children. And while, everybody was sending gear and whatnot to the soldiers, we said we also need to fortify the spirit or the nefesh of the soldiers on our front lines, because that makes them stronger. And how do you do that? You try to help bring one of their parents, of a combat lone soldier on the front lines. This is Ilan Cohen. I just want you to see his reunion. He's from Argentina. He had not seen his mother in a year. Any parents, we said we can bring them, we will help bring you out, but we will not guarantee that you will see your child. We don't know where they will be. And fortunately for Ilan, he was able to get out of the army because he had not seen his mother in a year. He was able to have this emotional connection and union with her. And she had written us a WhatsApp. She wrote Noya, the director of a Lone Soldier program, a beautiful WhatsApp. And in it, she said, we want to thank Nefesh B'Nefesh for this great opportunity to hug our son after a year of not seeing him, and just after so long of him being in Gaza. What you do is invaluable. There are no words to describe the days I spent with Ilan. This is Ilan Cohen. Ilan Cohen was killed 3 weeks ago. And if I have to say that when we raise money, and sometimes we raise money and we put so much love into this work, and we don't always see where it goes to. But when you know that you have helped a mom who could not afford to come and see her son, and she was able to hug him, and you saw this love and spend time with him, and we gave her this time, it's something that I don't think there's a dollar amount or there are enough words to describe. On to good things. Most of you have been to our beautiful campus, and we opened our campus to do weddings for lone soldiers, for families from the South that were evacuated and they had no more wedding venue. And we have done multiple weddings, and it has been incredible. We've really been able to dress up our beautiful building and turn it into a festive wedding hall. And in the middle of a war, we had a soldier who got married. He got out on Saturday night. We got word on Friday that he's going to be getting out. and they wanted the wedding to be on Sunday. So if you can imagine, we pulled together a wedding from Friday until Sunday night. As you see, he came in his dirty boots and his uniform. And when we say we try to strengthen the spirit, because that's what this is about, Zionism is about the soul of the Jewish people. It is about our spirit. And as much as we have physical strength, our emotional resilience and our strength is what keeps us going as a people. And I mean, there are, to see a bride and a groom celebrating together and knowing that we could have a small hand in that is really such a privilege and such an honor. And our message to our Olim, and we always look to see where can we bring value? What can we do that other organizations are not doing? What can we do for Olim that have unique needs, that are alone in this country? And if we are not going to do it, then who will do it? So our motto always is, we've got your back. And I'm excited to share with you that in July, we will be opening up our new Nefesh B'Nefesh campus in the round tower of the Azrieli Center. And this space will hold the Lone Soldier headquarters. It will be the Young Professionals Hub. As you had once been to our hub in Rothschild, we needed more space. We were growing. It is a community center to bring people together, because boy, do people need to come together. And our new initiative is a resilience nexus. As a mother of somebody who's been in the Army, we worry. When somebody gets a fender bender and gets sort of rear-ended in their car, you say, okay, you're not feeling the pain immediately, but sometimes the back pain comes out later. So we're all wondering what's going to come out later. And we also know that people here are walking around with trauma. Everybody here has trauma. But 80% of trauma does not turn into post-trauma if you can address it and you can help them. So thankfully, Israel is doing that, and communities are doing that. But again, who's helping Olim? So in this space, we're going to have various modalities, therapeutic modalities, to assist with mental health and to assist with resilience of the lone soldiers back into their lives. Not always so simple. My kids are being called up a second time, so we have soldiers and lone soldiers who are going back again and again. We have Olim whose parnassah has been hit, people who are living in Tel Aviv and simply anxious. And again, the space is going to be a loving space, a space to build community, and a space to help people come together and heal. So in the words of Dr. Maya Lechsan, Zionism is the Jewish soul, and we are interested in feeding that soul as much as we can. Thank you so much for your time and for letting me share with you what we're doing.